Hi, I'm Mary Lemansky of Cyberpunk Travel, and today I'm going to be talking about what is business administration and how does it apply to my travel business. I have an MBA in e-business. My undergraduate degree was in music and business administration. So um, I have been I've had quite a bit of experience working in different aspects of business administration and as a administrative assistant. So um, let's just get into it. So, what is business administration and how does it apply to my travel business? Business administration is a broad field that encompasses many different areas of a business, including accounting, finance, marketing, human resources, project management, ethics, operations management, business law, economics, and e-business. So I'm going to talk about each one of these things, and then I'm going to talk about how each of them applies to the travel business. Some of them are kind of self-explanatory, but we'll go over everything anyway. And so a lot of the CEOs in the big corporations, they have MBAs. And it's so that it gives you a bird's eye view of the whole business and what's going on with it. And you as a solo entrepreneur, basically. I mean, we have our team, but you're going on this yourself and doing your own branding and all of that sort of thing. So this is kind of the mindset that you need to be in when you're working on your business, trying to hit all of these points at least, once a week or whatever. Some of them are kind of autopilot, but we'll get into that. So these are the areas. Oh, um, so the first one we kind of a lot of people know about. These are different facets of um, business administration. I want you to think of the business or as like an entity, a corporate entity, if you will, and these or a body, and these different facets are almost like the organs of the body. And you can't just have one, they all have to work together to make the body grow and flourish. So accounting is the money part of it, accounting and finance. And so accounting is the creation, analysis, and storage of financial data. It's not just bookkeeping, but it's also, running reports and stuff like that. Now, finance then takes the data from accounting and they plan the budgets, they invest the money, and they do oversight of the transactions that are taking place. And by transactions, I mean like sales. So finance and accounting, as I was saying, they work together, or they are very interrelated. Finance takes the reports and the data from accounting, and they plan the budgets, they make investments, and they do oversight for transactions. Okay. So then we have marketing as another facet of business administration, and it involves planning and executing the development, pricing, distribution, and promotion of products and services to meet customers' needs. I'll talk in more detail about marketing later. You have the P's of marketing, one being pricing and promotion. And pricing comes from an interaction with accounting and finance. So they would discuss marketing, the market, and they'd probably do a market analysis and figure out what the best price for the product would be. Um, so that's marketing. And then there's human resources, and that's the management of people, including recruiting, ensuring people are safe, and representing the employees' needs and interest when there's a dispute or, if anything comes up. Okay. Two other facets of business administration are project management. This is the process of planning, organizing, and executing a project from start to finish. It involves coordinating activities and resources to meet deadlines and achieve a desired outcome. Now, project management can apply to any of these facets too. For instance, you might have a marketing project that's coming up. So you would, apply the project management principles, and you would probably have a team that would work specifically on that project. There's also a facet of project management called product management, and it's basically the process of planning, organizing, and executing a product from start to finish. So product development. And it also involves coordinating activities and resources to meet deadlines and achieve a desired outcome. So it's a type of project management. Product management is. I just wanted to mention that because you'll hear sometimes product management and project management used interchangeably. And that's kind of why, because product management is a type of project management based on just like your product that you're putting out as a business. Okay, so then there's ethics. That's the moral principles and values that guide a company's decisions and actions and how it interacts with employees, customers, suppliers, community, and the environment. A lot of times they'll have an ethics panel or an ethics board for especially large corporations. On a smaller level, this is, kind of like how the business presents itself to the world in an ethical way, I guess, from a moral standpoint. Okay. Well, for instance, like Ben and Jerry's would be quite different from Exxon morally, just to give an example. Okay, so there's more facets of business administration. Operations management, that's the process of managing the day-to-day operations of the business to improve its efficiency and maximize profits, reduce waste, that sort of thing. I took an operations management class in college, and I'll have to say it's the most boring class. Accounting, I thought accounting was kind of boring, but it was because it was 8 o'clock in the morning. There's actually some neat things with accounting that's weird, but operations management, it was very, I guess there's a creative aspect to it, but it's very like numbers oriented kind of thing. It's, how can we do this process as efficiently and as effectively as possible to get the product out at the lowest cost is basically their job. So they're about improving processes. Business law is a broad area of law that governs how businesses are established, operated, and managed. It can cover a wide range of topics, including contracts, property rights including intellectual property, corporate governance, taxes, business formation and dissolution, consumer protection, environmental regulations, employment laws, mergers and acquisitions, and securities. So lots of topics covered under the broad range of business law. And then these final three facets of business administration. include economics. That's the study of how people and societies use resources to produce, distribute, and consume goods and services. Essentially, if you boil it down, it can boils down to supply and demand, um, uh, and the study of economic systems. So supply and demand happens everywhere, right? Um, just to make things like so that there's not like a emotional attachment to it. Suppose you are selling a thing called a widget. Um, there is a supply and a demand for that widget. And it doesn't matter what economic system you have, there is always going to be a supply and demand for that widget, if that makes sense. Um, from a mathematical standpoint, from just a logistical standpoint, capitalism works the best. It's just the most efficient. I can sell my product to this guy over here, that guy over there, um, and uh, and I'm in charge of my business. With something like socialism or communism, the everything has to go back to the center, where it is then redistributed out. So you can see how it would be inefficient in a logistical, even just in a logistical sense, that everything has to go to the government, which already runs inefficiently anyway, and then they have to get product out to everybody. So that is why that's what kind of why we are capitalists. Is there a happy medium? Well, that's for economists to figure out, and not for it's beyond the scope of this. But that's just a brief overview of economic systems. I'll delve a little bit more into supply and demand in just a minute, just to give you a quick, so that when you go and look at your business, you understand what's going on. Um, Economic systems don't cause people to be poor. Greed causes people to be poor. Economic systems are like, okay, so any president cannot control an economic system, because an economic system is like an ocean. Can one person control an ocean? No. Congress might be able to do a few things to like build a dam around part of the ocean, but really it's just such a big thing that uh it is really like one beyond one person. Um, so I like to think of the economy as an ocean. Okay. Uh, Given all that, we have something that ties all of these things together, and that's e-business. E-business is basically electronic business. Your phone, wiring money to people, the internet. So e-business is the conduct of business processes electronically or on the web, and an internet, through the internet, um, and internally, intranets or extranets. Extranets are intranets that have um, outside access. You know, it's like consumers can log onto the website or whatever. So people conduct business, and this isn't just transactions, this is business processes. Your marketing is done electronically. Your finances are done electronic. All those aspects that I just mentioned are all done, can all be done electronically for the most part. Maybe not ethics and law, but there is laws that control the internet and e-business too. E-commerce, because you'll hear people call it e-business and e-commerce. E-commerce is actually a subset of e-business. So it's just the buying and selling of products online, transactions, online payments, and it can take many forms. You can have a business to consumer, which is what most people think of when they think of a business. You're selling something to a consumer. You have business to business, where two businesses are making a transaction between each other. Consumer to consumer, where the whole resale market is consumer to consumer. And then you have consumer to business, where people sell their stuff back to businesses to, do whatever to, so that would be like a consumer to business um, type of e-commerce. And all of these exist in real life too. It's not just online. Okay. So a lot of what e-business is an emulation of what has all these things are in real life. Um, like, marketing and accounting and finance and operations management. Um, but they're done electronically. It's basically what e-business is. Okay. So here's that quick lesson in economics, just in case anybody has never had any economics. Um, this is supply and demand. Here you have your supply curve. And if you notice, as you make more and more quantities, so this is the cost of what it is to make a product. So this is the business owner's side of the supply demand. And so as you make more products, the price goes up. And here is demand. So if you have less of a product, more people and all these people want it, the price is going to go up. And as the price goes down, or I mean, sorry, as as more and more of those things are made, then the price goes down. And this place where supply and demand meet is called the market price. And this is the price that you actually pay for something, if that makes sense. Um, so here for an example, when they finally opened everything up after the pandemic, everything had been to a standstill. So prices were inflated. Well, a lot of companies are still keeping their prices up here when they should be more down here. And so that's kind of causing some issues. Because they're price fixing when the market is demanding that it should be down here, if that makes sense. So that's why we're feeling this inflation. So that's just like a quick overview. Now these things can move too. It can get complicated. So this is just a quick overview. If you understand that as your cost, if you put more product out, your cost is going to go up, and you're going to want to charge a higher price. But that also, as you make more things too, people are going to demand a lower price. So this is where the market is going to meet. And if you keep that in your mind, it helps you to understand when people start talking about the economy. Okay. So application to travel business. This is how it applies to all of that stuff applies to you. I would suggest, some of these things you're going to want to touch on a couple times a week. Other things, you just kind of set them and then you review them quarterly or review them yearly. So accounting, this is going to be your receipts, your records of transactions, any kind of anything. If you have any kind of contracts you have signed where it says, pricing or anything like that, the accountant's probably going to want to see that too. Or, you'll want to keep that kind of thing together. Your sales spreadsheet, where you keep track of what monies have come in and gone out and what's been paid and all that. I've personally, like, if you're going to do, if it's more, if you really grow your business, you'll want to outsource your accounting, especially during the tax season, because they can find tax breaks for you that, you're not, you wouldn't know about, and they stay up to date on it. So, it's beneficial to outsource your accounting, or to use accounting software. And then finance, this is personally how you're running your part of the business, not like how Archer and Evolution are tying into this. I'll get to that a little bit later. So finance is creating budgets for your business, making investments in training and technology, um, planning how you're going to use those funds. Are you going to save them? Are you going to develop new products and services? Like, are you going to put together a new group travel or something? Or are you just going to improve your business in other ways, through better marketing or whatever? So these are the decisions that you'll make when you put your finance hat on. Um, marketing. Marketing, well, when I was in undergrad school, they called it the 5 Ps, and now I think it's like the 7 Ps. But essentially, it's your product, or in our well, we sell a product. It's kind of a servicey product. I don't know how it's hospitality product, but it is a product. And then we have a product or service is what you're, but yeah. So we have our product, which is travel. We have a price, which is, set by our vendors. Place. So the place that you're selling is, online. You're selling from home, but you can sell all over the world. And then promotion is, basically how we market our and promote our business. And and then people are your customers. They're the vendors, the BDMs. If you hire anybody to assist you in your business, that would be all part of marketing, a marketing decision, and the human resources decision for that too. So you can see how there's overlap between some of these. Speaking of human resources, these are people who help you with your business, like your spouse, maybe. In a way, we kind of have built-in human resources where we have training. If you hire an assistant to help you, and your team that you build, you're being well, you're not being an employer. You're sharing the opportunity, but you're offering somebody the opportunity. So you're team building and you're bringing in people. So that's human resources. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Project management. As an independent contractor, you're always project managing, right? You're always managing projects, especially if you're hitting all of these things every week, or I guess with regular frequency, I guess I should say. Okay. Ethics, we talked about this earlier, how you conduct your business, right or wrong. Let's hope you're not doing anything unethical in your business, because you probably won't be kept around by Archer and Evolution Travel. So they're kind of overseeing that for you. Ethical oversight, I guess. Okay. Operations management, that's how you manage your day-to-day flow. As I had said earlier, you want to do the goal in business is to do things as efficiently and effectively as possible. Of course, we all run into hurdles, so that sometimes that's not always how things work. But right here, I have your flow chart right here. One thing flows into another. There is a Japanese word called kaizen, and it's change for better, I believe is what it means. Change for better. And in business, it's used to describe continuous improvement. So you are continuously improving and making yourself better and making your business better. Um, that is an operations management concept. Um, where, like I said earlier, they're trying to make everything as efficient and effective as possible. So they're trying to get rid of waste in work processes. So they'll sit there and they will watch somebody and do, how long it takes them to do a certain task and what is holding them up from doing a task. It can get really, really, really crazy. But for you, that how are you going to manage your day-to-day flow and how are you going to improve your processes? Maybe you want to use a different type of technology that's going to automate stuff for you. So um, that's that's kind of where you as a travel business owner is going to uh, uh, look at operations management. And then business law, I'd say hire a lawyer. Unless you have a law background. Uh, your the contracts that we have for our clients, those would fall under business law. Archer Travel and Evolution Travel have handled a lot of the legal aspects probably already for us. So a lot of that part of it, we don't need to worry about too much. Just make sure that you're staying knowledgeable about new laws and travel rules. That's where you would really want to uh, pay attention to business law. Economics, stay up to date on general business news and travel industry. As a business owner, you want to know what's going on in the market, what's going on globally with travel, in your local regional market as well. So keep tabs on the larger global. I can't say it. Keep tabs on the larger global economic environment, as well as your local markets uh, uh, and related markets, I should say, related markets too, um, travel, like suitcases and travel stuff that we buy when we go traveling. Um, those markets too. You might kind of pay attention to. And then e-business. Uh, so e-business is how you're going to integrate technology into your various business processes to automate them and save yourself time. Um, One way is online commerce, because we're selling stuff online. We're not uh, having to fill out paperwork that, old school ways of selling travel. So there's one way that has been automated for us. Um, Travify, TravelJoy, BranchUp. When you build funnels, that's kind of an automated system too. These are things that you can integrate into your business processes already to save you time and to make things flow smoother. It also makes your customers happier. Okay, I think that's all I have for now. Thank you for listening to me and